Oh my god, Summer Split is literally tomorrow. Do you have a favorite team?
Shopify Rebellion all the way.
Oh, wait, what? Why?
So they got this guy, right? And he totally lives up to his name with his unhinged pocket picks and sick gameplay. It's insanity.
Okay, he sounds like kind of a psycho. Do you have anybody else?
BVOY. He was one of the top players in the CBLOL for years. Comes over to the LCS and guess what? First split, first team all-pro without even touching playoffs. Call that a bot gap.
He sounds kind of like him.
And then there's this guy, FakeGod. He's basically beaten everyone. Multiple-time NACL champion, won Scouting Grounds back in the day, and even solo killed 369.
You mean...
And then, part of the last LCS team to make semis at Worlds, you got Zeyzal. Still remember it like it was yesterday, waking up at 5 a.m. to watch it happen. He's also got the best beard in the league, too.
He actually does have a pretty nice beard.
And finally, after getting promoted from winning back-to-back NACL splits in 2023, the one and only Tomio, ready and hungry to prove himself on the LCS stage.
Okay, I actually really like this roster. And don't they have a pet turtle too?
You mean Wild Turtle? Yeah, I mean, I heard he's going on like 40, but I think...
I'm actually 29. Also, lower your voices. I'm trying to study the script.
Oh, sorry, bro.
Well, I'm not.
Not sorry for what?
For what we're about to do to these teams.
Knocked down by BVOY, and Insanity finds a nice double knockback. FakeGod, here comes the tree, putting him down. Tomo, gotta get cut down. BVOY with the triple, BVOY with the one but traded out.
Empire of these top teams stand no match for the rebellion of Shopify.
And specifically Wild Turtle for that last video. As we get ready for our next series, we just want to give you guys another reminder.
Pet Turtle to
Thursdays and Fridays next week. The LCS will be on Thursdays and Fridays. Immortals Energy up first. Hunter Thieves Team Liquid will be the two matches on Thursday and then the Friday game, which will include Licorice and Jensen playing up against Inspired once again. So definitely tune in to the end of Friday for that one. But right now, it is Team Liquid versus Shopify, and if we were to just look at the preseason power rankings, it would be a little bit of a mismatch. I'm Jatt here with Licorice, Raz, and Emily.
Yeah, let's take a look at them. Yeah, as you can see, Team Liquid was highly respected, except by TL Jatt. What happened there?
I asked Team Liquid how they were doing, and they said, not great. So I put them third. Coming off of MSI is usually kind of tricky, so I thought they'd be slumping. And they went to 3 games with FlyQuest in the first week, so they are currently 2-1 in game score.
Yeah, I think the big thing here to note is that all of us at least believed in Team Liquid a significant amount. Third, you're ranking them at the end of the regular season, right? Yeah. Whereas, except for Flowers, who didn't get that assignment. But whereas we all rank Shopify either last or second to last, right? So the discrepancy between these two teams is pretty big.
Yeah, I mean, based on scrims and also what I've seen on stage from them so far, TL does look like the strongest team in the league right now, so I think it's a really tough opponent for Shopify coming into this game, and hopefully they'll be able to come through and come together as a team.
It's really nice to have you here because you've played against them so much, or at least in scrims recently. Like, in-game, what do they do better than some of the other teams in the LCS?
I mean, just talking about their scrims, they just are able to play really good scrims, which I think is like, actually, it's not something that gets talked about a lot, but it's like sometimes when you play against top teams, the games get really messy and then they win. But when you play against TL, it feels like they're always doing like the team plan and they're able to just get really good practice. So that makes me think that they're just going to be really strong on stage as well.
If you, as someone who's been to multiple like international competitions, and then you try to take what you learned from that and like bring it to NA and stay that way, what do you think this TL team can do to try to keep that momentum going?
Honestly, I'm not too sure. I think like you just learn a lot every time you go to an international event. Like you learn a lot about lane matchups, you learn a lot about how to play the game. You just like get punished for things that you wouldn't get punished for otherwise. And I think that if you don't fall apart, then it can only be a good thing. Like it's really like as long as you don't completely crumble, then you will come back a lot stronger. And it looks like TL is looking really strong.
And I felt like they did a decent amount of like when I say shadowboxing, like thinking theoretically about how to play mid game before the actual MSI event happened. I thought their lane swaps, the favorite word that you have.
I love that.
Their lane swaps, like post, like around 8 minutes into the game, were actually quite good. And then post MSI, generally like their mid game, love their mid game, and I think that's something that they've really done well, is playing around side lane. So that's the one thing that I really want to look into, how Team Liquid can like continue to perform. Like mid game, team fighting, they're two younger players, and APA and Yeon just continuing to get better. Those are the real keys here.
I like what you brought up there, Licorice, as well, about not getting boomed by MSI, because I think almost over half the time it can actually hurt the team because they lack rest and their issues get so exposed that they then have trouble trusting each other when really they just need to get back to what got them to MSI in the first place. But here's the predictions for this series. I don't think there's going to be too many surprises here across the board. And we were all slightly wrong in the last series as well, because we had 2-0s across the board for FlyQuest in the first series.
The Discord's hiding their prediction one more time. What's going on, guys?
We'll just say they went for Shopify.
That's true. That's your prediction now. So at least we have one Shopify fan out there.
There might be another, because Raz, you caught up with both coaches before today's series.
True. And it was hot out there. What's up, guys? Thank you. I've got here Revan from Shopify, and I've got here Rainover from Team Liquid. I'm actually going to go straight for you, Rainover. First question, you guys had a dominant first week. Going into the second week, what's something that you've been changing to improve upon? What's something you've been working on?
I think our goals are still remaining. It's a hard goal to achieve, so we're just keep pushing our limits and then using like number pretty efficient in the game.
Question I also have for you. Where is Spawn? What's happened to the man?
He had some visa issues, so he's not here yet, but he's gonna be here from next week's match.
Okay, that's fair enough. I'm gonna hold you to that too. Revan, coming off of last week, what's something that you've been kind of whipping your team on? What's something you've been trying to improve upon as a squad?
Without giving too many specific details, I would say back to the buzzword fundamentals.
Yeah.
And we have all come to the common agreement as to what we want to do, and it'll look very different from last week, whether it works or not. I think we're very happy with how we're proceeding now for the rest of the season.
Sounds good to me. Good luck to the games, guys. And we'll send it right back to you guys.
Hello and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're gonna finish off week 2 with our last series of the day and of the week between Team Liquid and Shopify Rebellion. On the cast is myself, Rafa, joined by Ezreal. It's good to be casting with you again, buddy. How's it been?
It's been a while. It's been a while, man. First time back in Summer, and it's gonna be a good match. Obviously, heavy favorites. This is in my power rankings, my first versus 8th. So you know, you kind of have to judge TL through that lens. You know, for them to come out looking good in this one, it basically has to be a dominant 2-0. Shopify just looking to try to get a win on the board. You know, last week was not a good start for them at all. You know, not only did they lose 2-0, but they lost 2-0 to the other team that most people have in the bottom of the standings, right? Which is Immortals. So they have not yet really had any sort of kind of confidence builder, confidence booster to start off the summer. So I do think it's important that they, at the very least, can be competitive in some of the games, even if they can't get a game win.
Yeah, I think that's my kind of standard that they want to meet as well. Like, if you can't get a win off of Team Liquid, I mean, the rating, understandable. They're the rating LCS champions at the moment. They were super competitive MSI. They took down Fnatic. They were almost close to beating T1 in a couple games before eventually taking game 3 off of them.
Close.
Listen, man, I'm coping here for the NA fans, and
they were close.
Yeah, they were. I mean, the Samira play by Yeon will still live rent-free in my head for many years to come. That was one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen, and it's such a shame that they didn't win the game off the back of it. But it just goes to show that players like Yeon and APA, who are the newest members for this org, other than UmTi coming in, but just like in terms of career experience, a lot of speculation, a lot of eyes on them in their first couple splits here in the LCS. Their first international performance not that great, but then they bounce around and they've had such a glow up, and to be able to answer it with a 2-year extension contract just goes to show how much faith Team Liquid now has in these guys, because it is just a result of how much they've improved coming into today.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think it's been cool to see how the conversation has changed, right? And my opinions of these players have changed a lot as well. I think when APA first came in, a lot of people were like, this guy needs to be a little bit more humble. He needs to shut up. He needs to show he can do it. He's talking too much trash. He's getting beat by everybody. What is he doing? And now I feel like people are kind of loving it because he has been able to back it up. He has really stepped up as an individual player. He's been able to perform, at a high level. He looked good at MSI. He's been way better, this split, and in scrims, people are talking a lot more positively about him. So, he's really been able to kind of live up to that trash talk that he was talking, right? Now he's walking the walk too. And similarly for Yeon, when I look back to Worlds for Yeon,
oh man,
he wasn't able to get anything done. He really was just kind of passenger in those games, win or lose. At MSI, he was in the driver's seat. He was making things happen. He was playing confidently. And that, I think, goes back to what they were doing in spring as well, where TL talked a lot about how they kind of had this epiphany. They had this this chat that led them to saying, you know what, we're just going to play aggressive. We're going to fight you. If we don't think you should be able to do this, we're just going to risk the game on our mechanics, on our team fighting, on the ability to make these things happen. And I think it's the smart way to play the game, right? If you don't think that you're able to pull off a fight, so you're just backing off from it, even if it's a fight you should be taking, well, you're just ceding small advantages to your opponents over and over and over again. And TL have stopped doing that. They've started to scrap a lot more, and I think as a result, they've looked way better as a team.
Yeah. And all that in culmination leading up to the pinnacle of their LCS finest moment, winning LCS finals in spring against FlyQuest 3-1. Not only a bounce back against the team that they had lost to in the first run through of the upper bracket of playoffs, but even APA winning finals MVP, just a cherry on top in just the absolute glow up, which even makes it more why we are expecting Team Liquid should be dominating this series. And this is very much a David versus Goliath matchup for Shopify Rebellion, who in their first week, we're obviously very excited for Tomio to come in and debut in his very first 2 LCS games. Unfortunately, if we have to be honest, it wasn't, looking too great. The drafts didn't really set him up for success. There's some moments where you could see that there's some stage nerves, face checking a bush as Nidalee and getting jumped on by all the members of Immortals. But maybe now that they've had a week to settle after the first week of the summer split, maybe they'll show us something different. Because I've talked to these guys and I've talked to other teams surrounding their scrim rumors and when they were boot camping in Korea, and there is a lot of promise around this team. So maybe the first week just, stage nerves for accommodating a new guy on the team.
Yeah, we'll have to see, right? We did get to hear from Tomio in pros, and he was talking about the differences between playing in NACL and playing in LCS and how it was a pretty difficult adjustment for him. He was saying that in NACL, even if you're down 5K, there's going to be some enters in the game. There's going to be someone who's going to make a mistake. There's going to be something you can do to really get back in.
Right.
And he felt like in the LCS games, if you get behind, it's just over. It feels hopeless. It feels like you can't make anything happen because people aren't really giving you those opportunities.
Yeah, it all comes down to adapting to the next level of play, which once you've been dominating for quite some time in NACL and then you come up, you get the reality check. It's like, all right, there are some things that maybe you got away with in NACL that are no longer being given over to you for free in the LCS level. It's, some of the things that we kind of looked about when Quad first came up to LCS, a lot of the promise around FlyQuest and from their camp saying like, oh yeah, Quad is going to be like insane to boot. And so far, Quad is getting there, and it's a similar effect. I think anytime a rookie comes in from NACL, they have to just be thrown in the fire and see how well they can adapt over time. So our kind of perspective on Tomio hopefully gets to change and evolve as each week plays out.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's kind of a make or break it type situation for a lot of these guys. When you come up, when you are a rookie or when you are someone who's new to that level, you have to be able to adjust. You have to be able to adjust quickly because the expectations do rise along with that rise in your level, right? You're in tier 1 now, and you have to be able to step it up. And it's also really, really difficult because some of the positions are so stacked, right? And you're not just going up against other guys who are brand new in that role.
Right.
You're playing against a group of veterans who have been around and been successful in these roles and in this league for so long. It is really, really difficult to be able to have that success right away. The competition is just that much better. So we are going on into Champion Select here for game number 1 between TL and Shopify. Last series of week number 2. it's going to be a fun one, and we'll see if there's any curveballs thrown out in the first set of picks and bans.
And so far, Team Liquid, based on the drafts from last week against FlyQuest, it was Kalista, Ashe, Senna for a majority of the games. Shopify doing some of that work for them, saying, hey, you know what? You don't even have to worry about banning Senna. We will ban the Senna for you. Also taking away the Rumble, which has just been a very obnoxious pick to play against in top lane and still has some flex potential that we haven't really seen yet. Team Liquid, what last ban? Aatrox, respecting FakeGod and making sure that he doesn't get one of his preferred champions. And now a lot of things on the table. Tristana, Corki, things that you can also always grab for your mid laner.
Yeah, exactly. Trist left up, that's one of the most banned champions, most played champions right now. So that is going to be grabbed by APA. Even when it was less popular, it was still a pick that he was really comfortable playing on. Corki seems to be the pretty normal answer. We are seeing, I was talking with Licorice, we're seeing a lot more of these kind of like tabbies rushes and stuff like that, or the 1v1 from the Corki players. This is going to be paired alongside the Zyra. So we do obviously have, other big AP options for UmTi, things like the Karthus and whatnot if he wants, but TL has always been more of that like double tank topside team and play around the carries and bots. So it'll be interesting to see if that is going to be the role that UmTi is going to continue playing, because different junglers clearly had a different read. When you look back to week 1, it was 2 games of Maokai, 1 game of Sejuani. This is now his 3rd Maokai game. So despite the fact that AP junglers have been so much more prevalent, he is really still playing that similar role. And yes, I know people are doing Leandri's Maokai, but really it's like Leandri's in the tank and you're not fulfilling that same role as like a Zyra, Morgana, Karthus, and all that kind of.
Yeah, you're kind of a pseudo control mage at that point, because you're still going to be building take items after. What you're itemizing for is just that first spike of just having massive objective control with those empowered saplings proccing the Leandri's passive. Now, Shopify going to round up this draft with a Nautilus pick, so that gives them point and click engage. Team Liquid going for the classic Zeri for Yeon, someone who's been so good at this champion in recent memory, and then as long as Shopify don't have any other long-range engage that can follow up on a Nautilus depth charge, Yeon should be pretty much harmless, or he shouldn't be harmed in most of these fights as long as he is spacing appropriately.
Yeah, I mean, I think that Shopify is definitely going to be looking for something that does have some of that backline access, because you can't just ignore the Zeri. You have to be able to have something to answer. They could look towards a Varus or something along those lines. They already have quite good poke with the Corki and the Zyra, so you can double down on that if you do want. That's obviously an option that is available for them. TL as well, yeah, they have a little bit of AP damage from the Maokai, but they're going to be very physical damage heavy with the Trist and the Zeri already locked in. And Varus definitely makes sense as a ban. I feel like that was kind of the obvious AD pick that Shopify could go towards, especially when it is BVOY, and I feel like that's his best champion. There's been a lot of marksman bans already, so he's going to be getting kind of pushed down that tier list, and we'll have to see where he wants to go. Ezreal obviously has become a lot more popular. Kai'Sa is available if you want to have something, that is getting a little bit more aggressive, looking for that dive, especially if it is going to be a more aggressive pick for FakeGod as well.
Right. The other option for Shopify is to take something for BVOY that is long range. I know they already have Zyra, so they can function with Zyra as the only source of magic damage, but we just saw FlyQuest use both Ziggs and Zyra in the same composition. You can achieve similar things and still have a decent damage spread across both physical and magic if you have 2 of them. K'Sante being locked in, they are holding on to this pick for BVOY and trying to hide it away from Team Liquid, but blind picking K'Sante now gives Impact the opportunity for a counter pick.
Yeah, and we'll see if he's actually going to lock in the Mord. Mord is really strong in the tanks. This was something that Impact used to play a while ago, but he hasn't really been bringing out in a long time, so I'm not sure that we're going to get it. Vi would be a pretty big option here if they're looking for picks, but I mean, obviously they already have Maokai, so it's just going to be Udyr top coming through. I was wondering if they were going to get really spicy and like move Maokai top and try to do something where they're really cooking.
Support or something.
But it is going to be Udyr top. This was something that Impact had so much success on when you're thinking about early and last split. A lot of the wins for TL were all coming through this Udyr pick. It was running the meta, and Impact was one of the very best at it. He actually got interviewed about why he thought this pick was so strong, and he just felt that he could enable his teammates in a way that really set them up for success.
Right.
He was able to stay safe, he was able to get push in top lane, and he was able to move around the map and really facilitate his carries in a way that he couldn't on other champions. So it'll be interesting to see if he can do that again here.
Yeah, between him and Bwipo, they would be able to start proxying farming, and then when you have that ability to move first, that just allows you to be vocal and help set your team up. And that was during a time when Team Liquid were still kind of struggling through the early beginnings, where APA was still trying to find his form and Yeon was on the come up. And now we're seeing that return once again for Impact. The Shopify are going to lock in Ezreal. We know that you have now the safety and the range, being able to space with Arcane Shift, throw True Shot Barrage to follow up on any engage from the Nautilus, or if the Cassante tries to look for a flank angle. But Shopify, I mean, this literally...
They're just a poke comp,
yeah,
right? Like,
it's a poke comp, and it's pretty much almost copying a little bit of FlyQuest flow from the last game that just happened as well.
It's, you know, it's a very poke-heavy comp. Over on the other side, there's basically zero poke from TL, but they do have hard engage. You have Rakan. You have the ability for Maokai to start fights off, you know, with the ulti coming down. Then Rakan flies in. Udyr comes in on the flank. You know, that's the kind of plays that they are looking for to really get in on top of these squishy carries, try to take them out. It's going to be the job of, you know, this Nautilus and this Cassante to create space to keep Insanity, BVOY, and Tomio all safe so they can really get that damage done. And I also think it's so important when you're playing these types of compositions to be first to the objective, to be poking your opponents as they're walking in.
Yeah.
But that is difficult to really control that space against the Maokai in particular, who can check every brush with saplings, especially if he is going that AP build. It is very annoying to deal with. But TL really sticking to their guns. This is a very standard TL comp. It's two bruisers, two kind of tanky guys on the top side. They're going to be, you know, having that engage. It's hard engage for CoreJJ, and it's two carries here for Yeon and APA. So this is really kind of all about the 5v5, all about that 100-0 style play.
And what I'm curious about as well as this is, that's awesome. Holy moly, 800 LCS games, most played by any LCS organization. Does that also count when they were cursed as well?
It does, yeah. It says right there, curse games included.
Oh,
so
yeah.
It does include that. Congratulations to Team Liquid. This was a stat that I heard before today and actually surprised me. You know, I was thinking, okay, well, it had to be C9, surely, but they've actually passed C9. And previous to TSM leaving the league, they had been the team with, you know, with the most. But now, you know, C9 took the reign, and now TL going to be able to do that. So it's an org that's been around basically forever in the LCS and has been really, really successful, you know, especially in these kind of most recent years, have been doing well. And part of that success is APA. How well he did in week 1 was pretty crazy to see. He came out, he was styling on people. 7 solo kills in his 1 series was absolutely monstrous. And we'll see if he can actually really keep up this kind of pace and bring himself to the forefront of the conversation for best mislit mid laner in the league.
Yeah, I mean, one of my biggest expectations now for APA is going from his first couple splits in the LCS. A lot of people regarded him as one of the worst LCS mids in the league, but then as he really owned his skills and improved himself, I think now the expectation for him is how can he now beat out some of the top mid laners that a lot of people are awarding to, players like Quid, players like Jojopyun, people even before the expectation for Quad to be joining the ranks of there, even Jensen as well. He was able to answer him in finals last spring. And now the question comes down to, can APA maintain that form throughout the entirety of Summer Split?
Exactly. I mean, I think people talked about APA like, okay, you know, he's a good team fighter. We'll give you that. You know, you play the Ziggs, you play the ASOL, you scale up, and then you do well in team fights. But the lane, you know, generally people looked at him as, you're not a very strong laner. You don't get your own advantages. You're not the one creating the plays. You're just the one following up on it. So we'll see if he can kind of evolve to that next level of his career. And Zeyzal looking to get a deep ward in here. We'll be able to spot out UmTi on the Krugs as he's trying to be pretty annoying here. Tomio moving down as well, trying to see if they could actually get anything done, as Tomio did do 4 camps and then just, or excuse me, 3 camp clear and is just moving on down, trying to see what he can get done.
Yeah, he cleared out his entire bottom side blue quadrant. UmTi was spotted trying to do the Raptors on the top side, so then he tried to double back. But because Zyra clears so fast, he's able to beat UmTi to the punch of the red buff. So UmTi opts for only taking his Raptors and his Krugs, and now has to move back into his topside jungle.
Well, and that's one of the struggles when you are playing against some of these AP junglers, is that they clear so ridiculously fast. They're hard to punish, and they can often do, you know, these really kind of greedy clears, and sometimes they'll even meet you at your camp afterwards, which makes it very, very tough to actually keep up, especially when you are a champion like Maokai and you're not one of the faster clearers. It puts a lot of importance on you making things happen with the moves that you go for. As TL are trying to move in, they have that prio with the Udyr. They're going to try to see if they can find Tomio, who does not spot anyone. And I think that they are in that brush, so there is potential for him to be in a little bit of danger. So he's going to have to walk the safe way around. And we'll find out if TL are actually waiting for him or if they're just going to try to steal this camp.
And I was curious to see what kind of game plan UmTi was going to answer this Zyra jungle with, because as Maokai, if you just answered full clear for full clear, you will always lose the race against Zyra. So the fact that he's trying to somewhat decelerate and get info on where Tomio is, it's better than nothing. But I don't know how much it has really achieved so far.
Yeah, not too crazy, but I'm kind of shocked how far BVOY is actually down already. You know, down 10 full CS, and Sandy may be in trouble.
Yeah, CoreJJ is there first. Zeyzal tries to assist, but doesn't hit the dredge line on the minion to bring himself closer. But fortunately for Insanity, he popped the flash, and he's able to get out of harm's way.
Yep, is able to get out. We'll have to TP back. Zeyzal just there to try to keep him safe so he can actually pick up this wave before he does base. Yeon's going to get back in towards bot lane. And we'll see if they can kind of maintain that advantage, keep BVOY on the back foot, keep him down, because he really has been that #1 carry threat for this team, you know, through all of spring. This is a guy that, even on a team that was not considered a very good team, really did stand out amongst his peers.
Yeah, I mean, multiple Varus games, he was pretty much Legolas in a lot of the wins that Shopify got. There's a lot of times, too, that teams were disrespecting him and Zeyzal and diving him over and over again, but he outplayed them and gave them a lot of the gold advantages that they needed to turn around some of the games that should have been unwinnable to games that were actually playable for Shopify. But the fact that BVOY is the only one that is consistently performing well for the team does make it difficult, because you're hoping for players like Insanity or even FakeGod to step up now that they've had, you know, a couple splits of experience with this roster. It can't just all be on BVOY's shoulders, you know, and hopefully Tomio being brought in and on something like the Zyra will give them that additional reliable carry threat going into probably their hardest series this summer split.
Yeah, I mean, if the team wants to be able to have success, they want to be able to, you know, go to playoffs and have a chance of going to Worlds and all these types of things, they need to have someone else step up, right? You know, it can't just be BVOY, as you're saying. Insanity, I think, you know, was such a big threat, you know, back with TSM.
Yeah.
And people were kind of expecting that to continue. In spring, he did experiment a little bit with different style champions, but it was mostly the tanks mid. He hasn't really gotten back to kind of the spicy stuff like he was doing Graves and whatnot that he was getting a lot of credit for. And he hasn't really been able to be that secondary carry threat. FakeGod as well obviously had a tremendous amount of success in the NACL, but hasn't really been able to transition that into the LCS either. So they need someone to step up if they're going to be able to outperform expectations. And the expectations are that you're going to be probably 7th, 8th.
Stuff to live up to. UmTi taking the grub, says Shopify already answered with the first dragon of the game. Tomio's going to poke around and see if he can get vision. Maybe he can yoink one of these grubs away. He's got, nice, he's in smite range. So that does yoink one of the grubs away from Team Liquid, so they only get 2 from the first rotation. Shopify, now how well will they set up for the next rotation of grubs? For a few minutes from, I can't do math in my head. Probably around the 10-minute mark is when they'll play for it.
Yeah, we'll see if they're going to be able to get more grubs. I mean, just taking the 1 is always going to feel really nice, because you know they're not going to be able to get a 6 grub play or anything like that. But Impact just full control up on this top side, pushing it in, just ignoring FakeGod, proxying the wave over and over. And then when you do proxy this wave, your opponent can't actually kill you, so they have to answer the wave under the tower, which allows them to go up, proc the demolish, and Impact is just playing this out really, really well. This is feeling very similar to how he was utilizing it back when Udyr was must-pick, must-ban, dominating the LCS.
Yep, it's spring split vibes all over again for the Team Liquid top laner. Impact just pretty much having his way with the top lane in terms of push and prio, as you already called out. Shopify, though, they're not super far behind in goal, but a lot of the CS differential has been through pretty much every lane that's not jungle. And UmTi is okay with that, because as long as the team's winning, then he can empower them and set them up for success. And I mean, that's been the Team Liquid identity so far in these first 2 weeks.
Yeah, I'm just always concerned anytime I see Zeri getting such a free lane. You know, he's up a significant amount of farm already, right? It is nearly a 20 CS lead that he's actually approaching. There's a couple more minions for BVOY to farm. But Rakan, you know, not one of the strongest laners, but they haven't been able to really get anything done. They couldn't land a poke on Yeon to kind of keep him back. So CoreJJ, it's going to be unleashed on the map on one of his best champions, playing hard engage. You're setting up Yeon for success with this hyper carry. And I feel like everything thus far is really going to plan for TL. And it's going to be up to Shopify to kind of disrupt the status quo, you know, to be able to kind of just outpoke them in some of these team fights. And when they do actually decide to go to some of these objectives, making sure that they're able to have the proper setup.
Yeah, because as you talked about before at the top of the draft, if Shopify want to be the ones in control of these objectives, they need to be there first so they can establish vision and make sure that Insanity and BVOY are in position to start poking them down. And if anyone is too chunked and they try to go through a choke point, you lay plants down, activate them with String of Thorns, and then either you're getting a kill or you're getting a summoner spell off of them. But if Shopify are constantly losing the push war, I don't know how they're going to get to those objectives first.
Yeah, that'll really be tough, right? They're going to have to try to like probably play through mid, push it out, see if they can try to make anything happen. As Zeyzal really seemed like he hesitated on the Q there. That was very delayed. He dropped the ward, saw Core, and then I think he was kind of thinking about, do I want this? Is there someone else there? By the time he went for it, a little bit too late, so Core does get out. Insanity, though, this is kind of that point I was talking about when you do go for these tabbies rushes. This is a discussion I was having with Licorice, kind of the debate on, like, is this the proper build? And he was just saying he felt that, it gives you so much prio in these lanes, going for the early 2 boots rush, that even though it really kind of slows down your progression as far as the team fighting goes, that it's really valuable for that 1v1, getting full prio. Of course, the trade-off is the APA is rushing towards Kraken, so when he finishes Kraken, well, you're not going to have your first item done for Insanity, and then you're going to be way less valuable in that 5v5.
Yep.
So it's really a question of, can you get enough of an advantage to justify the tabbies rush here at the expense of weaker 5v5 later on?
Well, the Dragon is coming up in 50 seconds here for Shopify, and if Insanity is constantly now able to get prio over APA, it answers the question that we were asking about earlier. Can Shopify be the first ones in the river to control the objective pace, control for themselves? And with second Dragon being able to have 2, that makes it easier to achieve soul condition. Team Liquid, though, also can play for the second rotation of Grubs, and I think that's what Shopify are now recognizing, like, hey, let's go for these Grubs first, and then we can pivot to Dragon.
And it's potentially a really good soul. If it is going to be Infernal or Hex Tech, those are both really, really good for Shopify. Getting those kind of like ones that are going to amplify your poke would be really, really nice.
Right.
So we'll see if they're going to be able to get one that is good for them.
I mean, Shopify's bot lane is the first one here. They have full control for the most part, but UmTi has his ulti available. Dredge line hits APA. He's going to have to jump away. The rest of Shopify now wrestling control. UmTi's back in the river. And Impact has fought for prio over FakeGod. He's going to have to TP back if he wants to help fight.
Yeah, he is likely going to just TP right back. And TL, I don't know if they're going to fully commit. They get one, and they may just be able to back it out after this. We'll see if they're going to try to commit to get an extra one or if they're just going to be happy with this.
Really nicely done from UmTi. He's able to time the Q smite to secure one of the Grubs away. So both teams will walk away with only 3 Grubs. Neither team will have that extra Void Might to spawn on the turret. Now FakeGod gets a chance to, I don't know if he actually harasses Impact.
He gets a chance to do nothing.
Yeah. He walks back and like, hey, did you miss me?
That's the tough thing, is that FakeGod actually committed his TP to try to help them secure these Grubs. They didn't even get any Void Might spawn. They got nothing from it, but they're losing more and more to Impact, who has created a pretty sizable lead for himself up in the top lane. 650 gold just about. Obviously, that'll even out a little bit here as he does pick up these minions, but he's taken 3 plates in an isolated 1v1 and has had non-stop push, so Impact is definitely giving FakeGod the hands, and now they're looking for BVOY.
BVOY has Flash and Cleanse, but I don't think those Summoner spells are going to help him. He just knows that he's dead to rights, doesn't burn him, and it's first blood for APA.
Yeah, nicely done there. Good dive for TL on the bot side. There's no chance that BVOY was going to get out, so I think it's correct. Just hold on to the Cleanse, save it for later. Hope that Insanity can get something in through mid lane. He will at least get 1 plate, but APA kills these towers so much more quickly and is going to be able to knock down even more turret plates. So it's 3 turret plates bot, 3 turret plates top. Yeah, they lose 1 or 2 mid, but still, TL feeling really good now, opening up that Goldie more.
On 2v2 on the Tomio and Zeyzal, AP is going to help UmTi win it, and he's going to chase after Zeyzal. He's got no flash. Impact has popped the ghost, so he can get in range with the Ram stance. Switches to Phoenix for the slow. A double kill for APA, and just like that, Team Liquid have blown this game wide open.
Yeah, 2.2k gold lead, 12 minutes in now. Going to be feeling really good about how things are going. The Kraken's complete, 3 kills, all 3 going the way of APA, and he's going to be able to push this up, get even more damage down on the tower. As Shopify going to be out on the map, just pushing up towards top, trying to get another plate or 2 before they do fall. APA, at the very least, is going to get 1, but he probably is going to get that full tower. It's going to be all solo gold, and he's going to be so far accelerated ahead the pace of the game that is going to be really, really difficult to deal with him. I mean, that is a massive gold lead already now. 1.5K individually, a 1.2K gold lead to the Zeri as well. Like their carries have all the gold, and this is exactly what you want when you are playing these 2 carry threats.
Yeon popping the lightning crash, looking for the all-in on BVOY, but it just gets the arcane shift out of him. I just have to say, I was chuckling to myself earlier because there's 4 members committed against Impact, and you would think that maybe there's a chance to dive, but he's got a full Iceborne Gauntlet. He was full HP, and as Udyr, there's no way in hell that you're actually going to be able to pull anything off. So Shopify are just losing almost everything on every map play that they make.
Yeah, this is difficult. I mean, it's just a really good engage here. UmTi comes around from behind, catches Tomio. APA is there to follow up on it. And the rocket jump over the wall, he actually got in range for that rocket jump to actually slow Zeyzal up as well. So the ghost comes through. That allows Impact to catch up, to lock him down. They get the kills. The coach is obviously pretty happy about that, but a fairly measured response. This is kind of the expected result, so going to be judged on how clean they can get. No Panic Smite there coming down from UmTi, so he'll be able to secure the Herald. Another tower taken by APA top. Again, solo gold for him. And you can just see Impact just does not care about anything that Insanity can do right now.
Yeah, he's got enough sustain with the turtle stance, and then he's able to just proc back the slows and consistently threaten Insanity with the Phoenix stance trying to slow him down. And it's just crazy now to think that Team Liquid, I mean, you look back at Spring Split, nowhere this clean, but this is just the evolution of winning all the way through finals, doing well at MSI, considering what they had. And now, you know, obviously you're going against one of the lower ranked teams in the league, but this is the form that you have to play at.
Yeah, I've just got to say, I mean, I have really got to question FakeGod's itemization. He's going full MR here. Like, I get it. Udyr is annoying. UmTi's got a little bit of damage, but like, who is the threat this game? It's APA and Yeon, and you built 0 armor whatsoever. So, you know, it's basically the lane is over, and you were never going to be able to do anything against Udyr in lane anyway. So now you really kind of set yourself up for a very difficult time in the 5v5 as well, because you're showing up with Merc Treads and Hollow Radiance. You're going to get shredded.
Yeah. I mean, it's tough, because...
That's really tough.
I mean... Damned if you do, you build armor for APA, and then if you're one of the people that has to face check these bushes, and then you get chunked out by Leandry saplings and
but
whatnot.
like, you know, that's not the main problem, right? You know, and it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, I get it. Udyr's annoying, and he's going to be, you know, having all the Phoenix damage coming down, and the saplings are annoying, but you just build HP, that's enough to deal with that, right? Or at least you could build like even just a little bit of MR for a lane. You know, sometimes people will just pick up a null or something like that and then sit on that and build armor. Because the reality is he is going to have to be the one to try to tank through APA and Yeon. AP is ridiculously fed. He's already on 2 full items. The second item's going to be coming through for Yeon as well. He's done an IE. He doesn't even need to build a Last Whisper because the next item for FakeGod is so far away. And he just has his first cloth armor now. Like, by the time he gets it, there's going to be Last Whisper, there's going to be LDR, etc. already done for APA. He's just never going to be tanking this game.
Yeah. Well, for Shopify Rebellion fans in the chat, this is how the dice rolls sometimes. You know, I'm not... I don't know what else to say to help, you know, enlighten and be like, hey, guys, they did this right. I'm like... Shopify took a chance on some map plays. They tried to burn the dragon after the skirmish on the bottom side of the map where they dove BVOY and thinking, okay, they used a lot of their cooldowns, no way they can contest us. And UmTi and APA said, bet, watch us 2v2 you and blow you up.
Yeah, I mean, TL are just playing the map so well. You know, they're utilizing the prio that they have from their lanes. They won the 2v2 bot. They won the top lane 1v1 very, very heavily. APA moved well and fought well with UmTi around that dragon. And that's basically been the game, right? You had 2 winning lanes. Mid was kind of relatively even, kind of a bit of a farm fest. And then APA got a very big advantage off of that bot lane fight, took a couple towers, started moving around the rest of the map. And he is very adept at actually playing through these side lanes. This is something that TL did really well at MSI as well. A lot of the champions that he likes to play are good at side laning. They're tough to actually lock down when you're thinking about Aesol, when you're thinking about things like the Tristana. So he knows how to play through those side lanes. And you can see now that he has no vision on top side, he's not overextending. He's playing it back. His team takes Dragon. His team pushes up and gets vision in the bot side jungle so that Impact can push up, right? And it's this push and pull. It's these little things that TL are doing well that are creating big advantages. I mean, we're 18 minutes in, and they're nearly 6,000 gold ahead with only a couple kills, right? It has been about how they played the map, and this is the mark of a really good team. You don't need to just scrap to be able to create advantages. Sure, if they get a fight from this point, they're probably going to win it. They're probably going to take it. But they don't need to be able to create that monstrous lead that they already have.
Right. By the way, guys, if you don't know, LCS, third week, Thursday and Friday. I know we said that a lot of times throughout the broadcast, but just making sure you know. Because I know Jatt has even said, like, hey guys, if we see a Reddit thread and it said, we didn't know when LCS is going to be, we will say it again at some point before we close out the show again, so don't worry. 18 minutes into the game, about a minute and some change before the Baron spawns. 4 minutes before the 4th dragon of the game spawns as well. Team Liquid, the fact that they got the 2nd dragon of the game means that Shopify no longer have a dragon condition. They're going to force this fight. Nice grand entrance and charm from CoreJJ to set this one up. UmTi and the rest of APA's army can just walk right on in, and Shopify are just forced to flee. They cannot contest this fight because they're just so down in gold right now.
Yeah, they force a flash out of Tomio. They force the flash out of Zeyzal as well. It does cost them the flash and the ulti from CoreJJ. But Team Liquid moving into their opponent's jungle, fighting over this vision, fighting over these spots. This is what we talked about them doing in spring. This is the new identity for TL. If they think they're stronger, they're going to fight you at every single turn. And it's going to make it really tough for Shopify because TL's not going to sit back and just allow you to farm this one out and allow you to try to stabilize the game. They're going to take over your jungle. They're going to take away extra resources, and they're going to continue to extend the lead as an advantage. So Shopify has got to try to find a way to kind of draw that line in the sand and say, you know, no further. We're going to fight here. We're going to risk it all here. Because even if it is that 5% chance to win, that's probably better than you're going to get later. If you give over your jungle, TL's just going to extend the lead more and more and more.
Yep. The Baron has now spawned as Shopify have to slowly give up vision in this topside jungle. It is pretty much full darkness aside from one ward they have in the opening entrance of the Baron pit.
Says, come fight me.
And yeah, on Team Liquid, they'll burn the Baron. And if Shopify don't contest, then it's free for them. And if they do contest, then they're just going to force the fight.
And remember, there's no flash on Tomio, so they can actually just look to turn and try to kill off Tomio if he mispositions, then do the Baron afterwards. They're really just trying to force him in this tough spot because no one is answering APA.
Yep.
So TL are winning just by keeping you around. They're going to keep threatening this. If someone answers APA, then maybe they take the fight up here. But already, they've gotten a pretty significant advantage because that's 80-90% off of that bot lane tier 2. That's even more gold in the pockets of APA, who has the last whisper already completed. He's going to have that fully upgraded before FakeGod even gets close to finishing his next full item. And you can see he is just not tanky against this Tristana whatsoever.
Right, and it's so hard for Shopify to actually force fights because their only engage is Nautilus. And he's not long-range engage. He has to get up close and personal to be in range to throw out Depth Charge and the rest of the CC kit. There's no like Enchanted Crystal Arrow built into this team because they didn't get Ashe, right? And so Shopify, anytime that they have to contest this Baron, they have to do it by walking up. And that gives Team Liquid so much time to say, well, if you're sending, let's say, 4 members for us, I mean, you can answer one split pusher, but you can't answer the other split pusher. And so Team Liquid are just constantly going to do this dance back and forth, increasing their gold lead because people have to drop waves while they're trying to stop the Baron. And it's just a never-ending cycle that Team Liquid will slowly bleed and choke you out of this game with.
Yeah, it's really, really tough, right? You know, when you play these poke comps, if you fall behind, it's really difficult to find your way back in, right? Because the only way you're going to get a fight is by basically face-checking TL, and TL wants the 100-0 fight. They want that explosive fight. So they've got to just try to slowly clear out these brushes, try to get chip damage. Then when you have someone chipped out like Core, then you move forward and you try to get more. You try to continue pushing forward. That one ward not spotted by the pink in the pit does give Shopify the info that they are on the bear, and they're TPing in now, and they're going to try to commit to it.
Oh, Team Liquid are going to take the flip here, or do they want to play for the turn? Okay, but they didn't get contested on the Baron, so it's secured by UmTi. Impact already there to cut off Zeyzal, and Insanity's going to try to back him up to make sure that Zeyzal can walk out safely. But Shopify Rebellion, despite not dropping any members, I mean, they couldn't get into the Baron pit. They committed TP for it, so now they're down a teleport spell for FakeGod. So the next time he's answering a wave that's cross-mapped from Team Liquid are guaranteed another objective.
Yeah, it's just really tough, right? They forced the earlier flash in that previous fight in the topside jungle. Tomio still didn't have his flash back. There's no blast cones. There's no way for him to walk in the pit besides just kind of slowly waddling over there. They're not able to get anything, and now it's kind of desperation hours here as Shopify are just chasing after them, hoping they can find something. But they're not going to get anything whatsoever here from TL. It's 9,000 gold lead now. They are getting run around the map. The macro game really strong from TL in this one. They are just looking like a completely different class of team. As Impact is killing the base, they don't even have a response. The tower is gone before anyone even gets back, and now APA is looking for Tomio.
Oh, APA is going to style on Tomio. He flashes in. The jump will give him the reset. Zeyzal tries to stop it, but you cannot stop the wall of dip from smacking you in the face. Team Liquid picks up a double kill for Yeon.
Oh, this one is so over. TL are stomping Shopify in this one. This is just bullying at this point. I mean, they're taking your base, they're jumping in 1v2 and killing your jungler, they're taking the dragon, they're taking your jungle camps, they're taking the Baron in your base, and they are taking any hope that Shopify has of making this one close.
And you know what's really rough, Ezreal, is the fact that APA hasn't said anything in chat. Because every game, he'll say something when he feels it's competitive.
Wait. He says, when do you guys play?
Oh, that's worse. All right, my bad. I didn't see the chat logs. Oh, no.
Wait. Oh, we can't see it. We got to adjust it. Yeah.
Hey, guys, listen. We knew.
That one's just cold.
Yeah, that's... Jesus.
He's hitting Shopify with the when does Shopify play?
Oh, man.
Well,
come on, man.
Game.
They're already dead.
Not this game, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
Maybe next game they can play.
Yeah, it's a 10,000 gold lead at 24 minutes. Team Liquid, this is such a clinical masterpiece that they are pulling off right now against Shopify. Shopify are going to try to one more Hail Mary, but Zeyzal's already been blown up, and UmTi doesn't even go down as he just tanks multiple Mystic shots to the back of the head, and he's just okay. Impact is teleported in to make sure that they still got a front line, and Yeon is just 1v1ing Tomio under the tower while he flashes back. Doesn't have another Spark Surge to follow him over the wall, but you know what? He's a merciful man. He'll let him live this time around. Team Liquid now pushing through the bottom inhibitor and should be making short work of the mid one instead as well.
Yeah, this is tough for Shopify. It's a Hail Mary, but you're taking a three-pointer. The basket's on the moon. It's a long shot. I don't think they're going to make it. We'll see if they can make it happen, though. I mean, all they can do is just try to fight their way out of it.
Yeah, FakeGod still taking so much damage from the double marksman of Team Liquid as they're starting to push in these waves, waiting for the super minions to start coming through. Here comes CoreJJ. Grand entrance, and the double marksman of Team Liquid will rip Shopify apart. Two members instantly gone in the fight. And now Team Liquid should be pushing for the win.
I like how they're diving them at the Nexus, and their jungler's not even there. That's 4v5 under the Nexus towers, diving for the fight, winning it anyway. TL putting on a clinic in this first game against Shopify.
Now all three inhibitors have been taken out, and Team Liquid can just chill, wait for the supers to start pouring through, teleport from APA so that he can join the fight once again. And for Shopify, they're just hoping that maybe Team Liquid messes up. But it's very, very difficult at this point to even come back.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I literally cannot imagine what a comeback would look like at this point.
I mean, like, Team Liquid would have to not just make a throw once. They would have to do a series of throws.
They would have to probably dive the Nexus itself, giving multiple pentakills in a row to Insanity. That's about what we're looking at.
I don't think that's what's happening on my screen right now, Zeyzal. I see Zeyzal dead, unfortunately. He has to walk up. He is one of the tanks, but Shopify now down a frontline member, and here comes the final crash of the super minions wailing into the Nexus tower. Shopify Rebellion on their knees praying for a miracle, but that miracle ain't coming anytime soon. Team Liquid are the gods in this house and in this region and in this league. They won spring finals for a damn reason. They have not missed a beat, even against Shopify Rebellion, as they're going to play with their food in the fountain and close out game one of the series.
They kill APA, so they at least got a couple kills, but APA taking down BVOY in the Nexus. This was utter domination from Team Liquid. You talk about grading them by that tougher rubric here. When you are playing a team that you're heavily favored against, it could not have gone more smoothly for TL. They showcased their class in lane. They showcased their class playing around the map with the macro game. This is domination of the highest degree.
Zale, you know something? I know we said this earlier, but it's just another quick reminder for folks at home. Week 3 of the LCS will be taking place next Thursday and Friday, so make sure to tune in. And also, LCS fans, Fantasy LCS is happening on Sleeper. It's not too late to sign up and start a league with your friends, then crush their dreams with your own LCS super team. You can head over to sleeper.com or sleeper.app to give it a try. As we head to break, a quick reminder that the future of the LCS starts right after the LCS. Take a look.
This summer, NACL is back and we brought more. More Fearless.
It would be DSG locking in the Varus because they can't take the Orianna either way, but it's Aatrox banned instead.
More Creators.
Wait, I didn't change the competitive.
More best of fives. More money.
During the NACL Super Weeks on weeks 4 and 5, we'll give each NACL team 2 money matches.
More Surdy.
Summing up onto the stage again is my chance to prove that I'm the person who should have been promoted to the LCS over FakeGod.
More stories. More partners. More prospects. More futures. More colleges. More SmackDown. More Cowboys. More NACL this summer. More. The future of the LCS starts right after the LCS. More.
Look what I've just made. The perfect pearl.
Not too bad, but check this out.
Whoa, a true Venus clam.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Make more good in the Kia Sportage X Pro. Kia, movement that inspires.